Let us begin quietly with something very familiar. Almost everyone has dreamed before. Sometimes in a dream, we see places. Sometimes we hear voices. Sometimes we feel fear, joy, or movement. Yet when we wake up, the body has been lying still on the bed the whole time. So let us pause and ask gently, during the dream, where did that experience happen? It did not happen in the eyes because the eyes were closed. It did not happen in the ears because the room was silent. And yet the experience felt real. If this is so, then where do you think experience really takes place? This is not a strange question. We experience something similar in memory and imagination. We remember a moment from childhood and suddenly we feel happiness or sadness. Nothing outside has changed, yet something is clearly being experienced. So again, without forcing any answer, we can quietly reflect. Perhaps experience is not exactly the same as the physical body. Now, let us look at something very ordinary. Think of a smartphone. The screen shows images, the speaker produces sound, but the phone itself does not watch the video, and it does not enjoy the music. Someone is holding the phone. Someone is experiencing what appears on the screen. The phone is only a tool. Now, think of a car. The steering wheel turns, the engine runs, but the car does not decide where to go. A driver sits inside and experiences the journey. Without the driver, the car is only a machine. So, in our own life, we may gently ask, is the body like the vehicle? And is there something else that experiences the journey? Consider one more example. A virtual reality headset can create an entire world. When someone wears it, the experience feels real. But when the headset is removed, the body is still standing in the same room. The experience happened, but not where the body was. If this is so, then what do you think is actually experiencing? So let us gather these simple observations. The eyes receive light. The ears receive sound. The body receives touch. The brain processes signals. But none of these clearly explain where experience itself happens. If they only receive and process information, then what actually experiences it? If things are like this, what do you think? Up to this point, we have only looked at ordinary experiences, dreams, memories, imagination, and everyday tools like phones and cars. None of this requires belief. But now a deeper question naturally arises. If the body receives signals and the brain processes information, then what is it that actually experiences seeing, hearing, and feeling? What is it that knows? We often say, I see, I hear, I feel. But when we look closely, the eyes only receive light, the ears only receive vibration, and the nerves only transmit signals. None of these can explain awareness itself. Something is receiving these signals and knowing them. Something is aware. Let us consider a simple test. When you close your eyes, you still know that you are here. When sound stops, you still know that you exist. Even in silence and darkness, awareness remains. So awareness does not depend entirely on what the senses receive. This suggests something very important. Experience does not begin at the eyes or the ears. It does not begin in the hands or the feet. Experience begins where awareness meets information. And awareness itself is not made of flesh or bone. Many thinkers and contemplatives across history have reflected on this question. One of them was the Buddha. He explained that experience belongs to something subtler than the physical body. He described a mental body, not imagined but real, which is responsible for experiencing life. He explained that the physical body is like a vessel. It supports life, but it does not know life. The knowing, the experiencing, happens in this subtle mental body. This is why experience can arise in dreams, and why awareness can remain even when the body is still. At this point, you do not need to agree with anything. Just notice the direction of the question. If awareness is not the same as the body, then perhaps the body is something we use rather than something we are. If things are like this, what do you think?
Now let us take one careful step forward. Up to now, we have not spoken about religion or belief. We have only looked at experience itself. From that, a simple idea begins to appear. Perhaps there is a difference between the body that moves in the world and the part of us that experiences the world.
The Buddha described this distinction very clearly. He spoke of a body that grows from food and a body that grows from the mind. The food-grown body is what we usually call the physical body. It eats, it ages, it gets tired, and one day it comes to rest. But he also explained that there is another body, much subtler. This is the body that experiences. It is the body that knows sound, light, thought, and feeling. It does not grow from food. It grows from habits of the mind, from intentions, and from actions. We can understand this without any special knowledge. The physical body can be awake while the mind is dull. The physical body can be asleep while the mind is active in dreams. And sometimes the physical body cannot respond, yet awareness remains. This shows that experience and the physical body do not always move together. Think again of a vehicle. A car moves because fuel is added, but the journey has meaning only because someone experiences it. In the same way, the physical body is powered by food, but life is meaningful because something experiences it. The Buddha used precise language to describe this. He said, "The food-grown body supports life, but the mind-made body experiences life." These are not two separate lives. They work together. One provides the structure, the other provides knowing. This also explains something very ordinary. When the body is injured, experience may be limited. When the senses are damaged, awareness cannot receive information. But this does not mean awareness has disappeared. It means the tools are not working. So the physical body is not the experiencer itself. It is more like an interface. It allows the deeper experiencing part to interact with the world. When this interface is quiet or inactive, Experience may change, but awareness itself does not necessarily end. If this is so, then perhaps we are not exactly the physical body. Perhaps the body is something we use, while something deeper experiences. You do not need to accept this idea. Just hold the question gently. If things are like this, what do you think? Now let us approach a question that touches everyone, even if we rarely speak about it openly. What happens when the body becomes still? Not just in death, but in moments we already know, like deep sleep, anesthesia, or coma. When the body cannot respond, does experience completely stop, or does something continue in another way? Every night, we experience something similar. In deep sleep, the body is completely still. We are not aware of sound or light. Yet when we wake up, we say, "I slept peacefully," or "I slept badly." Somehow, something was present to know that rest happened. During anesthesia, the body is unable to move or respond. Time seems to disappear. Yet when awareness returns, it feels like a moment has passed, not hours. This suggests that experience and physical time are not always the same. In coma or deep unconscious states, the physical body may be present, but communication is limited or absent. Still, some people later report awareness, sounds, or presence. These reports invite us to question whether awareness truly depends on bodily movement. Now, let us gently extend this reflection. Death is also a moment when the body becomes completely still. The senses shut down. The body no longer responds. But does awareness necessarily end at that moment, or does it simply lose its physical interface? Many people who have come close to death report something unexpected. They describe awareness continuing. They describe observing their body, hearing voices, or moving through space. These are often called near-death experiences. Some details are later confirmed by medical staff. These accounts do not prove anything by themselves, but they are consistent with the idea that awareness may not be limited to the physical body. They suggest that the body may be a temporary instrument rather than the source of experience. You do not need to believe any of this. Just notice how the question feels. If awareness can remain when the body is inactive, then perhaps death is not simply nothingness. Perhaps it is a change of condition rather than an ending. If this is so, then a very important question arises. If awareness continues, what shapes its next experience? What determines whether experience becomes peaceful or troubled? To explore that, we need to look not at the body, but at habits of the mind. If awareness continues when the body becomes still, then another question naturally follows. What shapes that continuing experience? If the body is no longer guiding life, then what determines whether experience becomes calm or confused, peaceful or troubled? We can begin answering this question by looking at ordinary life. Our experiences today are not random. They are shaped by habits. If the mind is often angry, the world feels harsh. If the mind is often kind, the world feels softer. The same place can feel very different depending on the state of mind. This shows us something important. Experience is not shaped only by what happens outside. It is shaped by how the mind meets what happens. The same sound can feel pleasant or unpleasant. The same silence can feel peaceful or lonely. The difference is the condition of the mind. The Buddha described this shaping force very simply. He said that intention matters. What we repeatedly think, feel, and choose leaves an imprint. Over time, these imprints become habits, and habits quietly guide experience, even when we are not aware of them. We can see this clearly in everyday examples. If someone practices a musical instrument daily, skill develops. If someone practices patience, calm develops. If someone practices resentment, tension develops. What is practiced becomes familiar. What is familiar feels natural. The Buddha used the word Coma to describe this process. Coma simply means action, especially intentional action. It is not fate and not punishment. It is the natural result of repeated patterns of mind and behavior. If awareness continues beyond the physical body, then these mental habits do not suddenly disappear. Just as a habit continues from one day to the next, tendencies of the mind may continue when conditions change. This is not something to fear, it is something to understand. This understanding gives life a new meaning. What we cultivate inwardly matters. Moments of kindness, patience, honesty, and clarity are not lost. They shape experience now, and they prepare the mind for whatever comes next. This is not a demand to become perfect. It is an invitation to notice. Every moment is a chance to guide the mind in a softer direction. Small shifts matter more than dramatic changes. If experience is shaped by habits of mind, then the next question becomes very practical. Is it possible to train the mind so that experience becomes more peaceful, less fearful, and more clear? This leads us to the heart of inner practice. Up to now, we have been speaking about experience continuing beyond the body and being shaped by habits of mind. This may sound distant or future-oriented, but a very important question now arises. Is the deathless only something after death, or is it something that can be touched, even briefly, in this life? Let us look again at ordinary experience. There are moments when the mind becomes very quiet, perhaps while watching a sunset, listening to music, or sitting silently. In those moments, fear is absent, worry is absent, time seems less important. There is just simple awareness. During such moments, the body is still present, but attention is no longer centered on the body. The sense of I and mine becomes softer. Experience feels open and calm. Nothing special is happening, yet nothing feels missing. These moments are important because they show something directly. Peace does not come from adding more. It comes from letting go. even briefly. When clinging relaxes, fear relaxes. When fear relaxes, something deathless is touched. The Buddha pointed to this kind of peace when he spoke about the deathless. He was not pointing to a place or a belief. He was pointing to a quality of experience that is not shaken by change, because it is not built on clinging. We can begin to understand this without special practice. When we stop fighting the moment, even briefly, there is relief. When we stop insisting that things be different, there is space. In that space, awareness feels simple and present. This does not mean withdrawing from life. It means meeting life without tightening around it. The body still moves, the mind still thinks, but something deeper is no longer pushed or pulled so strongly. If even small moments of peace are possible now, then the deathless is not far away. It is not hidden in another world. It is hinted at whenever the mind is free from grasping, even for a moment. If this is so, what do you think the path might involve? This question leads naturally to something very practical. If peace appears when the mind loosens its grip, then perhaps the path is not about becoming something new. Perhaps it is about understanding and gently releasing what causes tension and fear. We have walked together through many questions. We looked at experience, at the body, at awareness, at habits of mind, and at moments of peace. None of this was meant to convince you of anything. It was only an invitation to look carefully at your own life and your own experience. If there is one simple thread running through everything, it is this: suffering grows when we cling. Peace appears when clinging softens. The body changes. Feelings change. Thoughts change. But awareness itself can rest without holding so tightly. Walking toward the deathless does not mean leaving the world. It means meeting the world with a softer grip, speaking with less harm, acting with more care, allowing thoughts and feelings to arise and pass without becoming lost in them. This is not about becoming special or reaching a distant goal. It is about understanding what creates tension and what releases it. Each moment offers a small choice: to tighten or to relax, to react or to pause, to cling or to let go just a little. You do not need to remember everything we have spoken about. You do not need to agree with everything. What matters is noticing. Noticing when the mind is tense. Noticing when it is at ease. Over time, this gentle noticing naturally guides life in a kinder direction. If moments of peace are possible now, even briefly, then the deathless is not far away. It is hinted at whenever fear loosens and the heart rests. In this way, the path is not something added to life. It is a way of meeting life more lightly. As we come to the end of this reflection, you may simply sit for a moment and feel the breath. Feel the body where it is. Notice awareness as it already is. Nothing needs to be changed right now. Nothing needs to be achieved. May this reflection help soften fear and reduce struggle. May it encourage kindness toward yourself and others. And may it gently point toward a peace that is not dependent on conditions. Thank you for walking together, quietly, toward the deathless.